now that we go out of order on the agenda and jump right to new business.
Second.
Is it new business or discussion action of the
Discussion and action.
Motion by Alderman Tax and Alderman LaVerie to go out of order to go to discussion of potential action of the following additional ordinances and resolutions. Please take the roll.
Yes. Alderman Bassler.
Aye.
Thompson.
Aye.
Patak.
Aye.
Reynolds.
Aye.
LaVerie.
Aye.
Jepson.
Aye.
Herndon.
Aye.
Crane.
Gentlemen, I've been, reviewing this for a while. We've kind of had a situation where looking at what other cities are doing with their meetings as far as public comment. And I did some additional results on that and kind of established a little bit from Peru, a little bit from Mosley, a little bit from Spring Valley for you guys to kind of decide if we want to move forward with how we do our public comment. Any thoughts? You ready to make a motion on it? What's your thoughts?
Your Honor, I have some comments I'd like to make in regards to this.
Do you want me to go over it for everybody so we're all aware of what we're
Please,
discussing here?
thank you.
So, obviously, as the mayor
Is that okay?
indicated, I wanted to cut you off there, just thought it'd be better if we all know what's in there. So, I was asked to review ordinances in other communities as it relates to public comment, comparing it to our own. In our own ordinance, there's not a whole lot of references to public comment. We're looking at Peru, Oglesby, Spring Valley, Utica, and Ottawa. They each have public comment portions of their code of ordinances, specifically as it relates to city council meetings. All of those public comment references in the ordinance are pretty consistent in what they regulate, and they vary based on length of time. So, looking at these ordinances, all of them limit the amount of time that an individual can speak, as well as public comment list as a whole. All the ordinances detail not allowing threatening or disorderly conduct or vulgar comments. Many of them reference a few other things as well, but for our purposes, our ordinance here is going to, in front of you, limits public comment for an individual to 5 minutes, and as a whole, public comment would be limited to 45 minutes. This brings our ordinance in line with what I would call the looser ordinances that I looked at. As an example, it's less restricted than Peru, which limits public comment for an individual to 3 minutes with a 30-minute maximum for public comment. Spring Valley's ordinance was the most similar to ours in that it was described the least. However, in Spring Valley's ordinance, they limited public comment for an individual of 2 minutes. Oglesby and Ottawa were, I think, both similar to ours, where it was 5 minutes for an individual, 45 minutes for a whole. Many of the ordinances also limited specifically if there was a larger topic of discussion that multiple residents had arrived to attend, that they would ask the residents to pick a spokesman to address the council as one individual, or else limit how many people can talk about one topic. That's not in this ordinance. I believe there was also, I'll find it here, pre-registration that some ordinances had, whether it's emailing the council in advance or having them sign a form at City Hall to put their name and address down. That's also not in this ordinance. So given that this is our first one, I'd say that this is in keeping with the looser ones that our neighbors are doing, but it does bring us up to modern standards by local comparisons. So with that, I'll have you guys discuss it. So.
Alderman Thompson?
Yes, my issues with just a couple of wording up. After speaking to Mr. Bader, doing my own due diligence and checking on the ordinances that he just referred to, and also speaking with Mr. Duncan and Attorney McFedrin, I went from completely opposed to this to just some minor, in my humble opinion, some minor wording things that if they remain in this document, I cannot in good faith vote for it. It doesn't have to be unanimous, gentlemen, but I can't do it. And I'll tell you the handful of things that I would think could be stricken and not affect the gross majority of what's in this. I agree with the time limits. I agree with everything I think that we would like to do. Where I have an issue can I go over the 3 things?
Sure.
Okay, it'd be in section H, Henry. This is more or less for Mr. McFedrin, since he's the most important one in putting this together. And also the legal counsel. It states, each member of the public addressing the public body, and the term that I'd like to be struck, they shall be expected to conform to conventional standards of decorum. I have an issue with that for a lot of reasons, because it's I just feel that it's so arbitrary, and it doesn't need to be in there. If we strike that and go shall refrain from making vulgar, insulting, or inappropriate remarks, I think it keeps the true thought process. It doesn't belittle this section, but it removes a standard that I think is arbitrary. It doesn't need to be in there. 2 more sentences down, continuing, the city or any member of the audience, period. Each speaker, and it says, must maintain civility. And I would like must maintain civility. Again, it's an arbitrary term. Somebody gets to make that determination. It better be fair, and that includes every member of this board. And I'm one of them that will overstep maybe the civility bounds at times when I get heated. And I sure don't want to get taken to task because I care about something, and I don't think the public should be either. But again, it's only a handful of words. I don't think
What would you,
you just strike civility. Each speaker cannot disrupt an orderly meeting by using obscene or threatening language or gestures. Any person possesses a threat. So the only thing I'm asking is each speaker must maintain civility. Must maintain civility is what I want struck.
because
and
because it gives examples, kind of what that
You
standard is.
can't give me an example of civility. Who's going to tell me? Civility in and of itself is formal,
Well, what continues after civility? It says,
but you don't need the end anymore because we're going to move it. Each speaker cannot disrupt. That's what I'm asking, just those words. And then the next sentence down, disrupt an orderly meeting by using obscene or threatening language and gestures. I believe obscene, again, is an arbitrary term. However, leaving threatening in, by all means. So I'm asking the word obscene to be removed. Those are my only 3 requests. If the council wishes to for them to remain in, obviously that's your choice, and I don't have any problem with that, but I can't in good faith vote for this ordinance as it's written. Thank you.
With those 3 requests, would you vote for?
Yes, I would.
Okay, if you don't mind, I'll speak a minute here. I think it's very important for residents to speak out. I don't like compared to the other cities because we are our own city and we're doing things our way no matter what, you know. And I think we've all done a good job. I like to have a discussion about this. That I'm still single-sided here. I'm not sure which way I'm gonna go, so I think the more discussion we have on this, the better. And maybe like just in the future, before we prepare an ordinance, we have a discussion and then prepare the ordinance. That's just my recommendation.
If I can break in real quick too, just for the record, the references I provided from CARUS, VIOLATE, Utica, Oglesby, and Ottawa came from their website code of ordinances. Obviously, there's always a chance that they may make revisions since their website has been updated, but for my best efforts, I'm gonna guess that that's up to date. So, just wanted that stated. It's not a reference to what you said.
Jordan,
I
this
just
is your
wanted to
time
reference that for the
to have
minutes.
discussion if you want.
Yeah, right.
So nobody's forcing you to vote without discussing it.
Right.
I would agree with you with 2 out of 3. I think obscene is very, it's very obvious to me. So, I have no problem, to me, that's obscene.
And that's not a reason to get thrown out of the
So,
meeting.
well, I'm just telling you, I just disagree with you.
That's not civil.
I
Yeah,
just said
civility is-
I think the other things are very reasonable, but if somebody's flipping me off, if somebody's gonna moon me, if somebody's gonna flash me, that's obscene. So I think it's very,
We have laws that cover
not,
that.
it's very objective, it's not subjective.
But we have laws that cover that. We don't need an
Yeah,
ordinance
who
to do what
determines
state
that?
law already.
Who would
We don't
determine
need any
that?
comment.
But it doesn't say in that ordinance that if somebody does that, some people say freedom of speech.
Who knows, we ain't doing that through
You
my
can't,
This
you
is
city.
in
can't
public
comment
comment,
at this
sir.
time, Mr.
Oh.
Hicks. This is just strictly within the
Okay.
council, please.
I have any thoughts on obscene? I mean, if you guys don't have a problem with it, I'm not.
I'm fine with it the way it is.
I think it needs to be in
That's
there.
not.
Oh, I'm fine, I mean, I can't see why you don't have to be civil. I mean, when they come here to talk, like we've had a couple, you know, hollering at the fire chief, hollering at the police chief, you know, and I mean, that's not, did you wanna see that all the time?
That's not
That's
what
not
I'm
civil.
asking. That's, but the rest
That's
of,
not civil.
you gonna let me finish the answer? You asked
So,
me.
well, go ahead.
Okay. The word I'm taking out, the civility word, you still cannot do the wording, I'll go over it again.
I think what you're saying is that if you take the word civility out, you still have a prevention from doing anything that disrupts the meeting, and that by implication should include civility.
Without having to put that word in there
Okay.
as an arbitrary
If
term.
I understood the mayor was okay with civility coming out as long as no ability to disrupt the meeting was still in there.
Right, but the mayor wasn't the one, it was me and
No, I
Mr. Bass who were
understand, I
talking.
understand.
And again, those are my three issues.
Well, I don't understand the thing with obscene, the obscene language.
I think you ought
We
to,
don't
for the
want
record,
that.
indicate what section that's in too.
H.
Yes, it's towards the bottom, the second to last sentence in section H.
What's your problem with obscene language?
It's not by using obscene or threatening language or gestures. Obscene is arbitrary, it's in the eye of the beholder what is obscene. An obscene gesture, this is an obscene gesture, okay? But is it? Somebody has to make that
Well, I actually
decision.
brought that up to Attorney McFedrin, and I said, for vulgarity, should we list every word?
Vulgarity is still in here, I believe.
But vulgarity can be construed differently as well. So, I mean.
Again,
you guys
I
want
only
us
have
to-
an issue with those three things.
Okay.
The word
Any other
vulgarity is
thoughts?
still
Any other
prohibited.
motions?
If we refuse, someone to speak or cut that person off, it will be a council vote or chairman vote. Like you or chairman of the committee.
However you want to do it.
The ordinance says.
Actually, I'll be glad.
The ordinance as it's prepared allows it for either one, but certainly if the council wanted to make a motion to overrule the chair, if the chair did it, then.
No, I would, if I ever got to the point, and I'm just speaking for myself, I would want y'all to be on record, because I'd want your constituents to see what you allow and what you don't. So, yeah, that's fine.
I think it says and or, the presiding.
That's not how I would. I would ask you to say, you know. Chair, well, you're out of order. I'm gonna take a vote that we discontinue your speech, and I would ask you guys for your vote.
All right, Your Honor, I'm gonna move that we approve the ordinance amending the LaSalle City Code establishing further rules concerning regulation of public comment related matters.
I'll second it.
Motion by Alderman Jefferson, second by Alderman Bastor, to accept the ordinance. Please take the roll.
Alderman Bassador.
Aye.
Thompson.
No.
Attack.
Aye.
Of course.
Reynolds.
Aye.
LaBerry. Jepson.
Aye.
Herndon.
Aye.
Crane.
So like I said, I'm for public comment, but I do think that there needs to be some regulations. And I think we can work that out, and I'm gonna vote aye.
All right. Thank you for the discussion, guys, appreciate it. We have one more ordinance, sir?
Yes, an ordinance making transfers of amounts appropriated from one corporate purpose to another corporate purpose.
Yeah, so moved.
Motion by Alderman Tax, I'm Alderman Reynolds to approve the ordinance. Take the roll, please.
Alderman Bassador.
Aye.
Thompson.
Aye.
Attack.
Aye.
Reynolds. LaBerry. Jepson.
Aye.
Herndon.
Aye.
Crane.
Aye.
All right, let's go back, discussion, potential action on the following petitions.
Request from Ameren to break ground at 13 Heather Court to replace a broken electrical pedestal and 1102 2nd Street to retire gas service.
I move that we approve both of Amherst requests.
Second.
Motion by Alderman LaVeria, second by Alderman Jefferson, all in favor?
Aye.
Against, motion carried.
Request from Rotary Park Foundation for a special event permit to allow an extension of hours for outdoor music on Saturday, May 27th and Sunday, May 28th at Pulaski Park and Related Matters.
We have Dan Burke here requesting that, and we also have a couple other members of that committee and the Rotary Park Foundation. Dan, any questions for Dan on that? It's just a one night, Dan, the extension?
We're talking about extending the hours at Music and Arts in 2 weeks. Instead of 10 o'clock, we're asking for 10:30 for the music and that. I know we didn't expect the ordinance to be changed when we booked them, but that's heartless on Saturday night. Sunday, we're done at 8:30, I believe, and so there's no problem with that.
Just requesting a one night,
Just one night.
Okay.
That's only half hour.
per your paperwork.
Your Honor, I move that we grant the request.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Tax, I'm Alderman Thompson. Take the roll, please.
Alderman Bassador.
Aye.
Thompson.
Aye.
Attack.
Aye.
Reynolds.
Aye.
LaBerry.
I'm gonna stay, I'm a Rotarian.
Jepson.
Aye.
Herndon.
Aye.
Crane.
Aye.
Request from Mary Kay Patel, LaSalle Township Office at 931 First Street to change one parking space in front of the building to a 15-minute parking space and another into a handicap parking space and related matters.
Your Honor, we'll have to refer this to the streets and alleys 2 weeks from tonight, directly following the finance meeting.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Bassler, second by Alderman Revere to send to the streets and alleys traffic. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried.
Request for 2023 raffle license from Greg Vaccaro of Citizens to elect Greg Vaccaro and related matters.
Your Honor, I move that we grant the request.
Motion by Alderman Tax, Alderman Reynolds. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried.
Request from Live Wellness, 525 First Street, for a special event permit to allow the use of city-owned property in the parking lot across the business, from the business, as well as a street closure on First Street from Gooding to Wright Streets and related matters.
Is there a parking lot or is there a little parking lot?
I think they made the green space.
This is the event they've done.
They've done this consistently every year.
The lot where the vendor was?
Yeah.
It's the same exact event they did last year and the year before that, because I think it's the third year for them now.
All right, Your Honor, I move we grant the request to Live Wellness.
Motion by Jefferson, second by Reynolds. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Reports to city officers.
Building inspector report for April 2023 showing total fees collected of $1,350 with a total value of construction of $2,246,460.
Your Honor, I move we accept the building inspector's report for April 2023.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Bassler, second by Alderman Thompson. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried.
Treasurer's report for April 2023 showing total cash balances in LaSalle State Bank of $13,378,462.97, and in Hometown National Bank of $7,162,722.41.
Your Honor, I move that we accept the Treasurer's report of April 2023 as read, placed
Bless you.
on file with each and every alderman of the county.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Tax, Alderman Revere. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried.
Monthly police income report for April 2023 showing total fees collected of $8,390.57.
Your Honor, I move that we accept and place on file the monthly police income report for April 2023.
Motion by Alderman Hernandez, second by Alderman Reynolds. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Communications.
Illinois Department of Revenue report showing sales tax collected for February 2023 of $83,396.68. Home rule sales tax of $72,725.23, and non-home rule sales tax of $33.06, for a total of $156,121.91.
Your Honor, I move that we accept the Department of Revenue's report for February 2023 as read, placed on file with each and every alderman of the county.
Motion by Alderman Tax, Alderman Reynolds. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Bids. Appointments. Standing committees.
Discussion of potential action regarding the recommendation of the Finance Committee regarding a request for monetary donation to the Illinois Small Business Development Center and related matters.
Your Honor, the Finance Committee voted to donate the requested amount to the Small Business Development Center and related matters.
Motion by Alderman Tax, Alderman Reynolds to accept the recommendation of the Finance Committee and ask to make a donation. Take the roll, please.
Alderman Bassador.
Aye.
Thompson.
Aye.
Patak.
Aye.
Reynolds.
Aye.
LeBerry.
Aye.
Jepson.
Aye.
Herndon.
Aye.
Crane.
Aye.
Could you indicate for the record what was that amount?
$3,000.
Thank you, I think that should be in the record.
Aye.
That's what the finance committee discussed and approved.
Discussion and potential action regarding the recommendation of the Finance Committee regarding a request from Juan Torres Pomales of Cito's Automotive LLC for a redevelopment incentive program, grant totaling $4,147.50 for premises located at 503 3rd Street and related matters.
Your Honor, the Finance Committee voted to accept this request.
Motion by Alderman Tax, Alderman Reynolds to go ahead and accept the recommendation of the Finance Committee. Take the roll, please.
Alderman Bassador.
Aye.
Thompson.
Aye.
Patak.
Aye.
Reynolds. LeBerry.
Aye.
Jepson.
Aye.
Herndon.
Aye.
Crane.
Aye.
Discussion of potential action regarding the recommendation of the Finance Committee regarding a request from Christy Pezika of Star Rock Rentals for redevelopment incentive program grant totaling $12,500 for premises located at 552 First Street and related matters.
Your Honor, the Finance Committee voted to table this. We're waiting for another bid.
Thank you, Chairman.
Discussion of potential action regarding the recommendation of the Finance Committee regarding payment of bid award of $861,581 for Scope A, 1B, 1C, 1D, and Scope 3 to Visiting Construction Company, and bid award of $751,250 for Scope 2 and Scope 4 to Team and Builders, Inc. for the 2023 new Public Works Facility Project and related matters.
Your Honor, the Finance Committee voted to accept both bids.
Yeah, for the record, the motion would be to accept the bid as opposed to pay the bid award. It would be accepting the bid.
We're voting to accept the bid.
And this would be subject, of course, to them signing the customary contracts, et cetera, correct?
Thank you.
Got a motion from Alderman Patax and Alderman Laverie to accept the bid, both from Visiting and from Team and Builders. Please take the roll.
Alderman Bassador.
Aye.
Thompson.
Aye.
Katak.
Aye.
Reynolds.
Aye.
Laverie.
Aye.
Jepson.
Aye.
Herndon.
Aye.
Crane.
Aye.
Discussion on potential action regarding the recommendation of the Finance Committee regarding installation of an I-fiber line to the new Public Works facility and related matters.
Your Honor, the Finance Committee voted to accept the bid from I-Fiber Line for the new public works facility and related matters.
Motion by Alderman Patax and Alderman Reynolds to accept the bid. Take the roll, please.
Alderman Bassador.
Aye.
Thompson.
Aye.
Katak.
Aye.
Reynolds.
Aye.
Laverie.
Aye.
Jepson.
Aye.
Herndon.
Aye.
Crane.
Aye.
Discussion on potential action regarding the recommendation of the Streets, Alleys, and Traffic Committee regarding a request from Diane Knopf to change the 3-hour parking sign to 15 minutes on the east side of Wright Street between First Street and the alley and related matters.
Your Honor, the recommendation, Streets Alley Traffic Committee, that they should try using the alley on the north side of their building for 2 weeks. If that don't work, they're gonna come back and we'll try again.
Is there really no motion, or is that a motion?
I think we're just gonna try it for a couple of weeks, he's
Okay.
reported this traffic committee, and
Okay.
then we'll see how it goes, and if that's all right with council, and then come back and take whatever formal action is needed,
Sounds
depending on
good.
how it works.
Special committees. Old business.
Authorization of pay request number 2 for Visiting Construction Company totaling $142,395.92 for work completed to date on the WTP Improvements 2022 project and related matters.
Your Honor, I move that we authorize the pay request number 2 to Visitor Construction Company.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Herndon and Alderman Laverie to grant authorization of pay request number 2. Take the roll, please.
Alderman Bassador.
Aye.
Thompson.
Aye.
Katak.
Aye.
Reynolds.
Aye.
Laverie.
Aye.
Jepson.
Aye.
Herndon.
Aye.
Crane.
Aye.
Authorization of pay request number 7 for Visiting Construction Company totaling $36,273.60 for work completed to date on the aerobic digester conversion project and related matters.
Your Honor, I move that we grant the authorization of pay request number 7 to Visitor Construction Company.
Motion by Alderman Herndon and Alderman Reynolds. Take the roll, please.
Alderman Bassador.
Aye.
Thompson.
Aye.
Katak.
Aye.
Reynolds.
Aye.
Laverie.
Aye.
Jepson.
Aye.
Herndon.
Aye.
Crane.
Aye.
Any other old business?
I have some old business, if you don't mind.
Alderman.
Quite a while back, we did a straw vote and a ratification vote about some sampling. We did the outdoor samples, all due to the CARUS fire. The Sierra Club gave us some recommendations on contractors for the interior wipe samples or whatever. I believe we reached out to one of the contractors at least, and he was unavailable due to some medical, tore his knee or something like that.
Lose Neil.
I just wanna see where we stand on that as of today.
I was kind of taking care of that. I didn't get a response back to the second one. It kind of fell by the wayside, so I'll take the blame on that. On a side note, we did have a telephone conference with, and I always pronounce her name wrong, Mila, and it appears that the Sierra Club Chicago chapter is now involved. They're trying to work something out on air quality and some other stuff, and it was agreed that we were gonna kind of
Yeah, they're gonna work their letter together first, and if that doesn't get a response, I think they have a second, I mean, I don't wanna speak to them, but they're gonna have a second, letter to them. And if they don't get a response from that one, then they're gonna come back to us.
And then then I'll start moving forward with that again with the council's approval. But right now, we're kind of waiting to see what the Sierra Club's gonna do, for a lot of reasons, but the main reason is because of the residents trust the Sierra Club. And so if it's something that we can work with, then we would go that angle, because the residents would be much more comfortable with it.
I think she's basically trying to discuss with those state and federal agencies what they're looking for with regards to indoor air testing, so.
All right.
Any other old business? New business?
I do have one item of new business. I'm gonna need a straw vote for a mobile food vendor application. It's on all of your desks there for Rodeo Tacos. This straw vote would be pending their ability to pay the application fee as well as pass a background check. The reason this is coming to you as a straw vote and not on May 30th is that their first event is going to be, the entire reason they're getting this application is to work with CARUS Foundation at the Mansion Concert Series. The dates that they that they're gonna set up there is marked on their application here. That first date is June 2nd. For them to kind of prepare for this, they need to know prior to May 30th if there's an interest in the council to accept this proposal. Seems like everything's in line here. All they need to do is pay us the application fee and then pass the background test. So pending both of those, if you're in agreement with this, I'd like to get a straw vote just to kind of test council's enthusiasm for the permit.
Yeah, we've approved them up there.
Ambassador? Thompson?
Any,
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Good here.
I'll work with them moving forward, then you'll see this May 30th.
Thanks, Brad.
They're gonna park near Seventh and Sterling.
I think they park wherever they normally, I don't know if there's a normal spot they park at, but I'm sure it's gonna be in line with what they've done past years. They've already got that permit for that, special event permit for that, so.
Mayor, I also have a new business.
Yes, Brian.
We requested 2 local contractors to give us hourly rates on inlet repairs. And we received a hourly rate from both John Pohar and Sons and Universal Asphalt and Excavating, and both were very close to one another. And with the amount of inlets we have, the finance committee, we discussed this, and we're gonna split if we get a straw poll saying that we can start. We'll split the work between the 2 contractors to get them done in a timely manner over the summer.
Especially since the pricing is right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's shoot for 4th of July. then.
What are you thinking, Norman Ambassador, you good with that, struggle?
I'm good.
Thompson? Just with that? Reynolds?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Brian. Thank you.
For the record,
That way
I'll
we can-
discuss fully with the finance committee today too.
Just for record now, everybody in the council's on the finance committee, so that helps.
Hey, Ryan, that's an excellent, nice job over there at Hegler Park area.
They did a nice job.
Yes, they did a very good job.
And
People and stuff like
the
that.
benefits we're
Took
seeing,
care of a lot of things.
right, the benefits we're seeing are, with the whole the CSO3, the big pump station, with the improvements we've made, we're trying to get to 23,000 gallons per minute, and it's up over 30. So, yeah, and the results we're getting from the release of that excess flow lagoon the quality is really good. So,
It was tested this past weekend.
yeah. And we didn't get any, in that 2-inch rain, we didn't get any overflows. So we're starting to get there. We're getting closer with every project, so.
Any other new business?
Yes, John, I think we just have a request from Stacy Pohar.
That actually, we talked to Alderman Crane, that can wait for now. She doesn't need
All
a
right.
straw vote today.
All right.
She doesn't need it now, we'll just wait till May 30th, so.
No problem.
If you have any issues with it, they'll let us know in advance, so.
Come to the point for comments and.
Yeah, those who voted
One
on.
more time.
Comments, any thoughts, ideas, concerns, thoughts from the community? We'd love to hear you.
I would like to say something. I know there ain't many people here because we didn't plan on coming, but I'm not gonna get excited tonight, so everybody can relax. I just question the timing of the ordinance. The whole time we've been in these chambers, you spoke about how we're different than other cities and how we do things differently, but now we want to try to compare ourselves to the other cities. I believe there needs to be order in here, and I believe it needs to be on both sides, not just one side. I don't agree with some of the things I've done in here, and I'm sure some people don't agree with some of the things they've said and done in here. But it happens. Heat of the moment. Especially when we're touching on on such a soft subject, especially with the fire in general. I'd like to know what happens if you're not in violation. Are you going to arrest somebody for saying a bad word? How's this going to work? You know, how are you going to be escorted out? Are you going to be told to sit down? I mean, whose idea was it? Was it yours, Mayor Grove?
It was my idea.
I figured it was. Could I also ask that, since we're going with other cities, that we possibly, since we're being video recorded up in the corner, that this stuff be posted live, like the little town of Oglesby, like Peru, like Iowa, like Spring Valley, so every citizen in LaSalle can see and hear and not have to be here. Why are we so backdated with technology? We don't have police cameras, body cams. Why? That's a big problem for me. I feel like you're taking away from the people's freedom of speech. I agree people shouldn't be attacking people. But I also, the fire was a touchy subject, and still is. And I'm not gonna bring that up anymore in here. We know where you stand, most of you. But it's just the timing of this. It's so bad. It looks bad. Like you're hiding even more. So I just wanted to get that out. And when do we get to see this ordinance, like read it? The citizens get to read this ordinance.
You have a copy of it here if you'd like.
I would love one. And that's all I pretty much have to say about that. You answered my question. I'm glad you answered that honestly, Mayor Grove. Can we name that the Jamie Hicks ordinance, by the way?
Jamie Hicks clause.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So, if you don't mind, Patricia, I'll follow up with what Jamie said. I appreciate you speaking in an orderly manner. That was very, very, very polite. I think this is, my personal opinion on the ordinance, it's there if we need it. Doesn't mean that, hey, we're clocking you right now, you have 5 minutes. If there's something that we're really getting at, you know, a very good discussion, we don't have to cut you off. It's just saying we can't.
Pat, you only have 4 minutes left.
I know, I would also assume we're gonna get warnings and
Yeah,
we'll be escorted out.
Well, that's kind of what I was asking.
Yeah.
You know, you got to put us in check. I understand that. Totally.
Advise you when it's closed.
We get airborne, but, so I appreciate all that. All right, go ahead.
Thank you. Hi. So I'm still going to talk about CARUS. First, I'd like to thank Attorney McFedrin for speaking up for all of the residents and his impassioned plea that they do the right thing by the residents with regard to paying for the damages. One thing that just came out the other day from the Ohio fire was that railroad company is now going to be giving people the differential between what their properties were worth before the fire or the explosion over there and afterwards. So when the residents consider the offers that are going there, I think that needs to be brought to CARUS.
So the company's making them whole, basically?
Yes. So they've got that. The other thing that I noticed, well, first let me say this. So Katie Tricoli has spoke here a few times. She's the chairman of our Government Affairs Committee, which I'm also on. Lance is her uncle. And I think that as a matter of disclosure, we're going to be bringing up the whole thing to the Illinois Realtors. Because for me, okay, let's say for instance, someone, I'm listing their house and they have water in their basement. And I know it. But on the form they say, no, everything's fine. I'm obligated to tell buyers that they have water in their basement. So I know what I know and I'm obligated to tell. So in this instance where there isn't enough further testing, there isn't any control group, there isn't anything, I'm obligated to tell people what I know. And that further devalues the property because people that know what's going on in the east end of Lasalle aren't gonna buy there. And that's still an issue. I mean, it was an issue, I brought that up the first time. That's the issue. And finally, my thoughts when I heard CARUS respond to me. I asked them direct questions about testing, and all they would say was, the EPA said that health issues. Well, that's the same thing as saying that you don't believe the residents, that all of the residents that are having health issues, they're just poor, unfortunate souls that happen to all get sick at the same time. So you either have to believe and test to find out that it was or that it wasn't. And I hope that the city falls on the right end of that stick because it's important. And then Alderman Thompson. I got a little lost between the conversation. So are we talking about testing the air, air monitors? Is Sierra Club going for air monitors? Or are we talking about house testing or both? I got a little mixed up in the conversation.
Air monitors was what the discussion was, but we expanded on that because we do not want to step on what the Sierra Club's doing, and we were not aware that now the Chicago chapter of the Sierra Club is now involved. They're talking to, we're assuming the IBCC auxiliary campus in Ottawa, some
Yeah, we didn't get a confirmation.
biologist.
We didn't get a confirmation on that. My understanding was they talked to somebody else over there and they weren't as interested, but Sierra Club may have found someone over there that
Right,
is
so
interested.
we don't want to cross lines. We're going to see where they fall, and they're writing the letter, they're doing what they're going to do. We've already supported, not the findings, but the,
Their support and their work into trying to persuade or to educate the federal and state governments that there's concern, or at the very least, to come back.
Right.
so we're waiting for all that to happen before we go and make any other moves, because we don't want to step on their toes.
Right, because the EPA and the IEPA made their determination on January 17th. 6 days after the fire, before any test results were in. After CARUS told them that it was only potassium permanganate that was in the air. So how does that work?
How it works is we have to wait for the Sierra Club, who you guys trust, right?
Right.
Is that my understanding? So until the Sierra Club gets back with us and we see which way they're moving forward, we're not gonna step on their toes.
Right.
We want the residents to be very comfortable with anything that's done in the future. Because after all of this and everything that we've done behind the scenes, I'm still waiting.
I can contest to the air monitors, that the Sierra Club's taken over the air monitors from these two. And, but I don't know what's going on with the sampling stuff.
Well, we're just, until we get what their letters said, we gotta be careful what we're doing with them.
Sure.
And that's it. It's not that we stopped. And the additional testing, I got through a curveball because the number one person they recommended who would have loved to have been involved in this, give us a bid, literally shattered his knee or hip or something, but he's out. He can't do it, his company can't do it. He was gonna send me another recommendation. It never came. But again, now it's on the back burner until we see where it's going.
Right.
And I'll call him and get that recommendation. I'm sure he's heavily medicated when he talked to me.
Well, maybe Sierra Club has a number 2 pick.
Right, but we're gonna wait and see what happens and we'll go from there.
Okay. So, and then the other thing that I noticed, because I've emailed back and forth with the EPA and the IEPA, and when they could push it off, at first they tried to push it off on the M&H. And then when I went through that with them and then contacted the M&H project manager, they stopped with the M&H, and then they said it's naturally occurring in the soil. So if it's naturally occurring in the soil, it's occurring in Lasalle, it's occurring in Peru, it's occurring in Oglesby, and we need to do a test group. We need to have a control group, and that'll easily prove or disprove a lot of it. So there's just so much bad science with that. I'm hoping that y'all are going to fall on the right side of this because it's not going to go away.
Okay. I'm having some difficulty now because I understand I've had people call me in regards to the M&H project from way back.
Right.
They're not returning the calls. EPA is not returning the calls.
So there was the project manager, whoever I was emailing with her, and she was very nice, explaining things to me up until the point that then she had to quit talking to me because she didn't have anywhere to go with it. So how am I doing on time?
Probably.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, that's really all I have. So I want to thank you for what you're doing. I want to thank you, Attorney McFedrin, and ship's not going away.
I just want to appreciate everybody who spoke at the town hall at LP. I thought everybody was very good on that. So.
Your Honor, and one item technically under new business I forgot to bring up. I did make a phone call and verify that we had not received any phone call or anything in regards to the insurance company in regards to our losses from the fire. Mr. Peruba called me back from CARUS. We're meeting with the council's approval, myself, the fire chief, and Mr. Duncan Wednesday. I thought it was urgent that we have that meeting Wednesday at 3 o'clock at the fire station, and we're gonna meet with the head of one of their main insurance companies. So that'll be a very interesting to just see what they have to say. It sounds like they think they're gonna negotiate. So of course, we're not planning on doing any of that, right? We're not gonna do any of that. We're just gonna see what their proposal is and then bring it back to the council. And then maybe Mr. McFedrin has to pick it up from there. So I would appreciate everybody's support in that. And I did that under the chairman of the
Yeah, no, you're
fire and ambulance.
well within your means to do that. I'll just make sure you don't sign any paperwork.
Nope, not even gonna try not to laugh.
We have Mr. Vasky here. Hi, Chris.
Thank you, everybody, for allowing me to speak to all of you. My name is Chris Vasky. I am the treasurer for the Lasalle Rotary Park Foundation. And with me today is Dan Burke and Steve Westerman on our committee as well for the Music and Art in the Park that's coming up here in 2 weeks. And on behalf of the LaSalle Rotary Park Foundation, all our volunteers of the Music and Art in the Park committee that have been working hard, we would like to present the city of LaSalle a check for $5,000 for the past 2 events that we've had the last couple of years. And hopefully we have more to come here after our event in 2 weeks. Guys, you want to talk about what's happening in 2 weeks? I'm going to pass out these cards to everybody. Be short and sweet. I'll pass this check along.
All right, yes, our event is Memorial Day weekend. We're expecting that to be very prestigious day, and we think that's going to be real big for us, so we think that'll be a great weekend. What we have going musically, I'll just touch on that real bit. On Saturday night, our headliner is going to be a band called Heartless, which is a Heart tribute band and is very highly rated, which I think is going to be really thrilling for everyone that likes music and everyone that likes a great event. We have great food vendors again. We really enjoy that it's been moved to Pulaski Park. I think that has really helped everything being right downtown. We appreciate all the help that everyone has given us, mayor and the committee and everything as well. So we're expecting a wonderful weekend, and we hope you all attend.
Yeah, it's, we moved it from Rotary Park. It's now free. There's no admission, no parking problems. We hope you're all there for it. It's gonna be a good time.
We appreciate all the time and effort that you guys put in this. I know sometimes we don't realize the work that goes behind the scenes. So thank you, and I know I signed up, so let's do it. It's a good weather.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Your comments, thoughts, concerns. No executive session tonight, gentlemen. Approval of bills.
Total submitted $783,886.84. $6.84. $6.84. $6.84. $6.84.